guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Maria Suazo and this is my husband Eric.
Hey guys.
If you're new to this channel, welcome. I do a lot of lifestyle, fashion, and faith related things. So if you're interested in any of that, go ahead and subscribe and like this video if you liked it. So today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're doing a relationship Q&A. I asked you guys on Instagram to ask me anything related to relationships, and you guys got some really juicy questions. Eric hasn't seen any of the questions, so everything will kind of be...
Have.
How?
Because I have your Instagram account.
Oh shoot, I forgot.
So,
but you probably don't remember them.
I don't remember, so it's been a while.
Yeah.
We were supposed to do this like a month ago.
Yeah.
So.
And so we're just going to answer them today for you guys. Yeah, so...
Let's get it started.
Yeah, let's get it started. So the first question is, how did you guys meet?
It's a long story, but...
we got time.
Yeah, we do have time. So pretty much the way we met, I have to give a backstory first. I went to Blair High School, Montgomery Blair High School, and in my time there...
Shout out to the Blazers.
My time there, I became good friends with her best friend, but her name was Gabby. We became really good friends. But then one day, like, she just texted me like out of the blue. I get a text. It's a screenshot from Gabby of like one of her Instagram photos, and she's like, "So this is my friend." And I'd kind of like seen her around because my group of friends at the time were her group of friends, and so I get this text, and it's just like, "This is my friend." I'm like, "Hey, I know her." She's like, "Yeah, like, I think you guys would be good friends," just to make it short. She's like, "I think you guys would be good friends, da 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 da." I'm like, "Okay." And like in the back of my mind, I'm thinking like Maria put Gabby up to this because she like thought I was cute or something, but we didn't know each other or anything. But it turned out that like Gabby literally just did that, like wanted us to be friends because she knew who I was, she knew who she was, and she thought that we would be really good friends. So she gave me her number. She's like, "You should text her." I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna wait 3 days because that's the rule when you get
a new friend,
a new friend's number." But I actually couldn't wait because I thought she was pretty. So I texted her like the next day or 2 days later, and I actually thought she wasn't interested in me because I texted her and we were talking for a little bit, and then she stopped replying. She said she didn't get my text, but I was probably boring her.
Up to this day, I'm still a bad texter. But the first time we met, like in person, was for
That's
Halloween.
That's just the backstory.
Yeah,
you have
that's
to know
just
that part.
how we met, like each other. But met in person was at a Halloween party that our mutual friend had.
So we had met at our friend's Halloween party, and it was kind of like a pretty dry party. There wasn't really anything going on, to be honest. She was the life of the party, for real. But
I was the only one in a costume.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was a real Halloween
I was never really one to dress up for Halloween. But yeah, I saw how fun she was, and just like she was like vibrant, and that made me like her even more. And I didn't even really know this girl. So we had met at that party.
And then I think a couple days later, like literally, like 2
October
or 3 days
2013.
later, he asked me out to a coffee shop, and we went, and it was really fun.
Yeah.
We had a really good conversation. Like,
I didn't even like coffee.
And
but I knew she did.
It's so crazy because as we started dating, I realized Eric is such a shy person and he's so like reserved. But the first time we had like a date, I couldn't tell he was shy. He was like, we had a great conversation. Like it flowed. There was like
pretty confident.
Yeah, there was like no awkward.
I don't even remember what we talked about.
We talked about our family. There was like no awkward. I had never really gone on like a first date like that, so I was kind of nervous because I was like, what if I'm not good at carrying conversation one-on-one? Like, I felt like I was good in a group setting, but one-on-one, I was kind of nervous. But it went really well.
Well, we're here, aren't we?
Yeah, I know. The next question is, how did you know you were ready to start dating? Looking back now, I don't think we were ready to date.
Probably.
When we started dating, because I was a senior in high school, and he was a freshman in college.
Well, she actually put me in a friend zone. So we kind of knew, like,
we weren't ready
at a certain point.
Wait.
Well, you weren't really ready.
Yeah. So I think I guess when I first started dating Eric, I knew I wasn't ready, so that's why I put him in the friend zone. I don't even like saying that, but for some time we weren't really talking.
It was weird. Like, we were really vibing, and then like we were just talking all the time and hanging out, and then like out of the blue, she's just like, "I don't think I'm ready for a relationship."
Because I genuinely wasn't. And it was like a really hard decision to make because he was super cool and we were like really like he was saying, vibing. Like we were really growing in friendship. But I think that the kind of like the signals that told me that I wasn't ready to date was I just didn't really like have my priorities straight. I didn't really like, I knew that any relationship that was built outside of God, I knew wasn't going to end well. And so I kind of was just like, you know what? Like, I really need to just focus on God right now and focus on my relationship with him. And I felt like I had to learn how to be loved by God before I could even love anybody. So I think that's how you know you're kind of ready to date, is when you feel like, you have an understanding and a true, like, truth of God's love for you. Throughout the journey, we kind of learned like how to put God first and how to really build a relationship that's based on God and how he would want us to do it. Not that it was perfect that by any means, or not that like we didn't mess up or nothing, but we just like trial and error. Like we tried to figure out the best thing that worked for us. I don't know, like I wouldn't put an age on it or anything like that of knowing when you're ready to date. I would just say, if you truly feel like you are healed enough and you are whole enough to love another person, then I think dating could be an option.
You got to be mature. That's really the biggest thing.
Yeah.
We were both pretty mature. So that's what made it easier. Like when we were vibing as well, like we both knew like maybe we could like really trust each other in a relationship. But yeah, it's important definitely to have God in your relationship. It doesn't make it perfect, but it definitely makes it easier. And it teaches you, like having God and having that voice to hear, like teaches you patience and maturity and wisdom.
It teaches you how to love well. I hope that answered the question. I don't know. But it all just depends. Take it to God. Ask him if he feels like you're ready, and he'll tell you. Did either one of you deal with family disapproval?
I think she did more than.
You think
more than
so?
me.
I think you did.
No, me?
Babe.
My family?
Oh no, I meant you dealt with disapproval.
I definitely dealt with her family disapproving me. No, like my family didn't disapprove of her or anything, but her family, like at the time, like I wasn't, she had gone to church her whole life, and her family had a relationship with God and had a foundation. But me, like that was really the biggest thing when it came to the disapproval. Like her family didn't trust that she was interested in this guy who didn't know anything about the Lord really. It was really I don't know about your parents.
Yeah, when we say family, it wasn't like the entire family was out to get him. He actually knew my brother and my cousins before he knew me.
Actually, her family, actually was like pretty loved by her family.
Yeah, like everyone loved him.
Only one of your sisters.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say any names.
I only have two. No, I'm kidding. No, but it was mainly my sisters because they're super overprotective and they wanted to make sure that I was doing the right thing. So I think the moment they heard like he's not Christian at all, like he doesn't go to church, something like that, it was kind of like, well then what are you doing with him,
Yeah.
So that was hard on me too, because I felt like I put a lot of standards on him that weren't God, and he had to go through his own journey without me to find the Lord. So it was a little bit tough in the beginning, and I wish I would have handled it better. But I think if you're dealing, I guess this is someone asking that they may be dealing with that.
I think like a lot of times we feel like we have to prove ourselves, but really just be who you are. Don't force anything. Don't try to be something you're not. Just be who you are. And I mean, really, you gotta hope that the person will have a change of heart, whoever it is, whether it's parents. Just show them that you're trustworthy and that you're capable of taking care of whoever it is that you're interested in.
Yeah.
That's really the biggest thing.
Like Eric was saying, like just be you, because if that person is dating you, it's for a reason, and the family or the people, they'll get on board eventually, and I think his family was super, they were super welcoming too. Like I had zero issues with his family at all, but I think it was because, we were just real, and we just didn't really try to be anything that we're not, so I think that that's the key, or the best way to kind of help deal with that. The next question is, how do you feel when you thought he wasn't going to put a ring on it?
How did you
That was such a good question. I think obviously the emotional girly side of me was kind of upset and sad, because I wanted to marry him, and we were talking about marriage, and we were kind of getting ready for marriage, and so to think that like, man, he didn't do it, or he didn't do it when I thought he was gonna do it, or he would just always tell me like, be patient or wait and things like that. And now looking back, like, I wish I wasn't so emotional about it and would have just enjoyed the journey, because if it's yours, and it's gonna come when God wants it to come. But I was just so like, I want to get married, and I know we're ready and all this stuff. So I think I felt sad, but at the same time, I felt like, you know what, I trust Eric and I trust God's voice in Eric's life, and I know that when he does it and when he asks me, like, it's gonna be the best moment ever, and it's gonna be perfect timing. And really, that's what it was. So I think, like, yeah, it would kind of sucked, but then I kind of put it in God's hand, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna trust God, and I'm just gonna let him lead Eric and let him, do it when he feels led and when he feels like it's the right time. And it was great. It worked out. It was great. It was so emotional. I'm gonna insert pictures right here, and you can just see through the pictures how emotional that moment was. You did great.
Thanks.
Has it been hard adjusting to marriage? If so, how?
I mean, definitely. Like, whenever there's any like huge transition in your life, there's gonna be some difficulty with it.
Yeah.
I mean, the biggest thing is really getting used to each other. Like, our routines, our habits. You're so used to doing a lot of things by yourself.
Yeah.
So when somebody else comes in the picture, it's kind of like, man, I have to readjust. But I was used to like staying up till like 2 or 3 in the morning. Just playing video games. What us guys do. But when she moved in, I was like, dang, like, I really got to be intentional with the time that I spend with my wife.
I think my biggest adjustment is like moving out of my house. I think that's been probably the biggest adjustment that I've had to deal with. Just because I've never lived outside of my house ever. Like, Eric has lived without his parents for some time before we got married, but I never have lived without my parents. I think that was the biggest like adjustment that I had to face. I didn't really experience like the adjustment or the change until like a couple weeks into our marriage, and it was kind of sad. He was really good at helping me adjust with it, because we made it a priority to see my parents like almost every weekend, so that really helps a lot. So I think that was probably the biggest adjustment that I had to make, was not coming home to my parents and not coming home to my mom and telling her about my day and everything. So another thing too is more so like my privacy. Like, I would be so used to going home and reading whatever I want or spending time with God whenever I want to. And now it's kind of like we have to communicate like what that looks like, because I remember like one night I just put worship music on and I like turned over and I was really praying, but he kind of thought something was wrong and asked me like, what's wrong? Like, are you okay? And nothing was wrong. That's just like how I wanted to end my day, was just kind of meditating on the Lord. So I think communicating like, this is what I'm doing right now, or, I want to do this right now when it comes to like your alone time with God. I think that was another adjustment, because I'm not used to like sharing that. But overall, I think if you have if your partner is patient and your partner is understanding, your adjustment shouldn't feel too hard. Like, it's going to be tough and a little bit bumpy, but it won't overtake you or anything, if you have a patient partner and they're understanding and helping you through the adjustment. The next question is, how do you make time for one another with busy schedules? This is something I'm working hard on. I think it's different now that we're married, because you come home to this person, even if you have a busy long schedule, at the end of the day, like, you see each other. So think about more so when we were dating, and like, I think back to when you were working 2 jobs, I was in school, like we
still spend a lot of time together. I think it's just like, taking advantage of every opportunity you get. Like, whether like you're just getting off of work. I remember like, when I was working 2 jobs, at the end of the second shift, like, I didn't care how tired I was. Like, I still wanted to spend time with her, so I would still make the effort. But that's really the biggest thing, like being intentional with the time that you have and making the effort. And, hopefully it doesn't really feel like, there's a rift between you guys. Yeah.
The important thing about, I think, when you're like in a busy season or busy schedules is just communicating. Like, I have a super busy day today. I have a super busy week this week, but can we find time to spend time together, And I think acknowledging the fact that you're probably not going to spend as much time as you're used to when you're not busy. And that's okay because every season is different, and you know, you have to learn balance when you're dealing with so much. So I think it's just communication and finding like the little moments, you know. If it's like, I remember Eric would come over even though I have to study and have so much to do, but just him being there was us spending time together, you know. And maybe scheduling date nights too, like around your schedule, could help as well.
Utilize Google Calendar.
Yeah, Google Calendar, we use that a lot. The next question is, how/when did you know he was the one?
I don't know how to answer that. How did I know that he was the one?
I thought you were going to change it to she. But can you answer too? Why?
Because the question was for you.
When we first started dating, I kind of knew that Eric was like husband material, and I'm like, okay, he has a lot of potential, and we have a lot of potential to grow and stuff. And then when he like came to the Lord, and we started like, when we both came to God and like, you know, really prioritized our relationship, that's when I was like, okay, definitely possible. But then there was this one moment when it was his birthday, and I had gotten like kind of defensive about something. It's really stupid, and I was kind of just really worked up, and I didn't really have a good self-control back then when it comes to like my emotions and just my frustrations. So I kind of took it out on him and was kind of like yelling. And he was just cracking up at me. Like, he was laughing at me. And that kind of made me even more angry, because I'm like, are you not like, do you not understand my frustration? But then like after that moment, you know, I apologized because it was so irrational. But then I was thinking back, and I'm like, yo, he's gonna be my husband, because he is so like not like me, and he's so, you know, calms me down and doesn't let me be something that I'm not. Like, I think he was laughing at me because he was like, what are you doing? Like, this is not how you communicate, you know? So yeah, I think that was like the moment that I thought like, man, this is the one. And obviously there was like more confirmation from God and stuff like that, but that was one moment that I remember that I was like, dang, you keep me in check. What about you?
I know, as cliche as it might sound, like, I knew she was the one from the moment I'd met her. Just because, I mean, it's just, you just know. Sometimes you just know. And, you know, I'd never met anyone like her. And, you know, she was everything that I'd hoped for in a woman, really. She was driven, beautiful. And she wasn't me, and I like that. But really, like, I just always knew you were the one. There's no like one specific moment, because it's just who you are from the beginning.
I think another thing that I really loved was when I told you I needed space and I needed time. Like, he really respected that. I think he wasn't like, please, like, you know, he wasn't begging. And I honestly, when he reacted that way, I was like, yo, this man is so different, because if he can respect me in my need for space, I felt like he could respect me when I'm ready to come back and to actually build something and build friendship. Because I felt like if he was like pushy, like, that's kind of disrespecting what I want right now. So I was like, man, that's so like mature, you know. And we were 18, like, we were so young. Okay, the last question is, how many kids do you guys want to have? Any baby Rodriguez soon? Yeah, I'm actually pregnant right now. I'm kidding. Okay, so how many kids do we want to have?
I think we've decided on 3. 3 boys.
And we're hoping that
no,
the
just
first.
Kidding. No.
What? I didn't even hear you say that. No, I want a little.
We definitely
mixture.
want a girl. I come from a family of all guys. I always wanted a sister, but I'd definitely love to, you know, have a baby daughter.
I want boys and girls, but we're hoping that our first pregnancy are twins, because there is a possibility. But I would love if we could just like knock 2 out and then
a boy
just
and a
do
girl.
one more.
That
would be awesome.
That'd be ideal.
But yeah, we want 3 kids.
Yeah, but in terms of how soon, our nephew was just born, my brother's first kid, so that's enough kid for now. You know.
What? No, he makes me want.
And
kids.
we have Dakota. You know, Dakota kind of counts. But in terms of like a timeline, we're thinking when we're close to 30, when we're just a little more settled in, you know, in our lives and our career. You know, we're not expecting everything to be perfect and like for the stars to line up, because that's just not realistic. But we just want to be in a better place. So yeah, like 4 or 5 years.
I think that's like the perfect timing. But obviously, like, we're okay with whatever God wants, and if he gives us a child earlier, it's because he trusts us and we can do it. But if it's like later, then it's fine. We just want healthy kids.
You're just saying that because you want to have kids.
No, I'm just saying, like, if it happens sooner, you can't really control that. I mean, you can control it, but if God magically, if it's, you know, then it's whatever. God trusts us. But we just want healthy kids, and we just want to raise kids, you know. So I really want babies with you.
5 years. Or 4.
Well, we've been dating for 5 years, and
5
they
years.
flew by. So 5 years from now, it's gonna feel like tomorrow.
We'll probably get another dog before we have a kid.
Yeah, and get a bigger house, maybe.
Yeah.
That's the last question. So you did great.
Thanks. I think I'm a natural.
Yeah, you are.
Thank you guys for your questions if you're watching.
All right, so that's basically it for the Q&A. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want a part 2, or if there's anything else that you want to ask us, you can leave it down below, or go ahead into my Instagram and DM me, and we'll probably film a part 2 if there's any other questions that are out there. I want you guys to give this video a thumbs up if you want to see Eric in more videos. He's super shy, but he's a natural, and you're great.
We'll see how it is.
So yeah, thank you guys so much for submitting your questions on Instagram. We really, really appreciate it, and we hope that you enjoyed this video. And yeah, that's basically it. So I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye. And maybe Eric will be here. Right?
Maybe.
Okay. Bye, guys.